Right now on the John Nabors Show, we're joined by a very special guest, a man who knows all about football, not only on the playing side, but the coaching side, and it is former Razorback great and Razorback tight end Chris Gragg joining us. Chris, appreciate it, man. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, John. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you've had a lot going on here recently and just getting into the coaching ranks, and now you're over at Harbor High School here locally in Northwest Arkansas being wide receivers coach. How's that going?
Yeah, man, it's been a good time at Harbor. I've been there 3 years. We made some good progress there. Got a new coach there right now that's been there a year, and he's making really good progress.
So what made you really want to get into coaching? I know that every player probably has that itch to continue to play, but to make that transition from being a player to a coach, just what was that decision like and getting into it, and also just being at Memphis too as a grad assistant?
Yeah, actually growing up, once I made the decision that I was going to try to be a football player, I thought the first thing that I would try after I was done would be coaching. It just seemed like a normal fit. Actually, my dad was a coach growing up, so I've been around the sport all my life, and it just seemed like the perfect fit.
Yeah, and now you get a little chance to see and coming back with Arkansas, because I know we could spend a whole day talking about this, but Bobby Petrino being the offensive coordinator at Arkansas, you played for him. Were you as shocked as everybody else was to see him back as an offensive coordinator here at Arkansas? And just what was your overall reaction when you heard the news that he was returning on the Hill?
Well, I was shocked just like you were. I really didn't think it would happen. We always had that little inkling of hope, maybe, once he got back into coaching, especially once he got back in the SEC. We was like, wow, it is possible. He's making his way back. And somehow here at Arkansas, we made it happen that he's back here being an offensive coordinator. And like you said, I was shocked, but I'm kind of happy that it happened.
Did you talk to a lot of your former teammates, too, when it all happened? Pretty much most people felt the same way, too?
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of group texts with a lot of former teammates, former players throughout the program, all through Arkansas history, and everyone was shocked. Everyone was like, wow, we can't believe this happened.
So looking at it from when you played for them into now, and I know you got a chance to see a little bit of the practice in spring, and there's a lot of time until the season starts, so a lot of things can change, but just seeing him and maybe do you have a chance to really talk to him about stuff? And also, are there any major differences from when he was head coach here to where he's at now, just in the times you've been around him?
Well, like you said, I did go to that first spring practice, and it's a few things that I could pick up that the practice flow, the kind of how the offense went through practice, how it began, and then how it got to the individual, and then the team periods, and 7-on-7 in the middle with 2 huddles. All of that stuff was kind of structured, kind of how we used to do it back when he was head coach. So I kind of like that aspect. It was fast-paced, a little bit faster than some of the other staffs I've seen come through here over my time being done playing, and been here to watch. It was a lot more fast-paced, and I like that and how it was structured. So that's one of the things I could pick up. Then I heard some of the calls and some of the signals that was going on, and I was telling some of the guys on the sideline, I was like, if that's that call, if it's the same, they finna do this. And it was the same thing, and I was like, oh, okay, he's bringing the offense back. So I kind of like that for sure.
Yeah, well, it's funny when you bring that up because everyone knows these plays, and it's almost like there's a footprint of Petrino, and when you can see it. And going back to when you were coming out of high school, playing at Arkansas and in college, trying to learn that and to go through that process, was it a pretty difficult thing to learn as a new player as far as the offenses go, or was it pretty simplistic and easier to maybe understand? It was just a matter of the execution of it all.
I wouldn't say it's simple to learn, especially when you're trying to grasp the whole aspect of the offense. What kind of helped me being a coach is kind of when I was in high school being a receiver, kind of knowing the skill aspect and learning the back end, and then in college transitioning to a tight end. So then I had to learn the run game, pass pro, and that side of offense. So it kind of helped me grow as a player and helped me play faster, but it also taught you football and it helped you be a coach. And learning Coach Petrino's offense, you will learn like his pro style, then you can have some tempo to it. It's got a little bit of everything, so you really learn football.
Well, and it's funny, too. I know a few players because I guess we went to school around the same time, and talking with guys like Tyler Wilson, or and what was it like playing for Bobby Petrino? It's always funny to get different answers, but for you, what was that like playing for Bobby Petrino, and especially being a guy who transitioned from wide receiver into that tight end position and had a lot of success with it too?
It was hard. I would say it was hard, but it was fun. It was worth it. Once you put in that work, and then you got that success on Saturdays, and then you get those 10-win seasons and 11-win seasons and BCS games, and you know what I'm saying, every bowl game you go to is after January 1st, so you get a nice little break. You get good amount of bowl practice. That is when it's you living good as a college player, even before NIL. So that's the good times, and so I can say that was good. But the hard parts were the workouts, like you say, the meetings, the way he demanded us to do it a certain way and do it that way over and over and over again. And but like you say, it all paid off when you win on Saturday.
And the type of players you played with, especially on that, everyone alludes back to that time, because not only did you have great quarterbacks like Ryan Mallett and Tyler Wilson, but then you throw in,
to my man Mallett, man.
Yeah, I know. It still kills me inside even to bring it up. But you know, with those guys, and of course the wide receivers that you had, and then DJ Williams was in front of you for a bit, and you guys kind of dueled and did all that. It was almost just like the perfect storm of a great offensive mind of Petrino, but also the great talent that surrounded it, which probably opened up a lot more opportunities for you and others, where you guys just had so many great players. And I mentioned the running backs and guys like Nile Davis. It's it's one of those things. It's like you look back on, and you're like, there's so much talent, and with the great mind of Petrino. Those are kind of the great fun times that Razorback fans will always remember because of how elusive and how great that offense was. Yeah,
that was a special time. I mean, if you think about it, really, the class before a little bit that Coach Nutt had, but then that first class that Bobby Petrino had, a lot of the core guys were some of the best players from the state of Arkansas. And that's the thing that I always seem to go back and push. Like when Arkansas is good, we get the best players from Arkansas, the best skilled players for sure. And then, because I feel like it just means a little bit more. So we had guys like myself, the other two from my school at Warren, Greg Childs and Jarius Wright. You had Joe Adams from Arkansas. Dennis Johnson was from Arkansas. DJ Williams was from Arkansas. You just had a whole plethora of guys, even guys on the defensive side. Levance Askew, one of the guys that was from Camden that played down there. DeAnthony Curtis was a guy who played on both sides of the ball throughout his time. So, I mean, it was just that class right there. I mean, Mallett and Kobe, they're from Texarkana. That's half Texas. They claim Texas, but those guys, I mean, it's right there. So they felt like they were home guys too. So it was just a special time here.
So was it just the timing of all those players from the state of Arkansas? Because we in the state, this produces a lot of talent and a lot of guys, but it seems like as far as the amount in one class, that was almost unheard of. Was it just the timing of it all? Yeah,
it kind of was. We were all coming out the same time. We all kind of cross paths playing each other through 7-on-7. That was getting big at Arkansas at the time, and just playing maybe scrimmages or something like that, or other sports, even baseball, basketball. And we kind of just came together and was like, man, we all just going to go up there together and try to change it. We had just saw Darren McFadden, Peyton Hillis do it. Those were guys that were from Arkansas. There was a few more guys who had success. So we were like, man, and then when Petrino got the job, coming back out now, a lot of us played NCAA football. And so when he was at Louisville, they were a good team to play with, offensively anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? They could put up some points. So we were like, hey, they might throw the ball a little bit, so let's just go up there and try it out.
Former Razorback and tight end Chris Gragg is our guest here on the John Nabors Show. Now, Chris, I also know that you look back on your time here, and people, of course, had so much fun. I know you guys did having success. Is there one particular player moment that gets brought up to you the most by fans, something that you were involved in or a play you were involved in?
I mean, everybody talks about the Georgia, the first touchdown in Georgia. We ended up winning that game in the fourth quarter. That was a really, really good Georgia team that we went down there and beat Georgia on the road. They talk about that one. They talk about the Mississippi State game, the one that got us to 10 wins. I think got us to 11 wins at least. That's the season we had 11 wins, and we went to the Cotton Bowl that year. It's a lot of memories, man. I mean, just winning the Cotton Bowl, those memories. It's a lot of background stories that people don't even understand that was going on back then. It's just so many memories that you have. It's crazy.
So you mentioned that Georgia play because that's always the one I think of. Was that the one that is always referenced as Cowboy Go Get 'em, or was that the different
Yeah, that
play?
was a Cowboy Get It. Actually, that was my first 2 catches as an Arkansas Razorback was that play. So that's kind of why people always attribute that to me. If you remember the first one, I was a true freshman, and it was 4th down. We were playing ULM, and that was Petrino's first year, and we were losing the game, and it was 4th down, and that was our last time out. And I can remember it like it was yesterday. Petrino looked at me in my face and said, "Cowboy package." And so we only had one play, had a Cowboy package that we had worked on, and went in there. Casey, head coach at Fayetteville, and right now Casey got a little pressure and threw it up, and I went up and made a play, man, and we ended up winning that game. And I just remember DJ being so excited. I was like, okay, I made a play, and then I just remember everybody playing a little bit more as a freshman, and then just moving on forward from there.
So what was it about that play that, because I wonder, why is it that play that gets referenced and people remember that call? I don't know if maybe just Petrino was it, but what made that play always so significant and special to where it seemed like it was successful?
It's a 4th down call. It's always at a critical point in the game, I feel like, and it's always, he catches you kind of when you're sleeping. It's a very, very heavy package, so it's a lot of tight ends, fullbacks, running backs, maybe one receiver, maybe not even any receiver, so it looks run, and then we do a great play fake. If you remember the ones Mallet did at Georgia, just great play fake, and everybody's usually thinking run, and if you get open, and can get behind them. Hopefully you can make a big play out of it. And like I said, I made a big play against ULM and a touchdown out of Georgia one.
So looking back at the plays like that and elements of that, and now that you're a coach, have you taken a lot from what you've learned at Arkansas or under Petrino and maybe utilize some of that into your own coaching and what you're doing now?
Oh, yeah, I try to, man. I try to take a little piece of everywhere that I've been, man. When I've been blessed enough to play on every level, the highest level especially, it's just kind of, you try to take something from every spot. The good, you try to learn from the bad, and then I try to help out the young people now, just help people get better at football, have a great time while they're around the guys, because that's one thing that football really brings, the camaraderie, the locker room, just all the time that you spend together, make it have a good time, and then just try to teach them about life and have them be better football players.
Well, you mentioned your time in the NFL, and I think that's also what's so cool is you mentioned guys that come from the state of Arkansas and how much it means to be at the school and have success, but to go on and have success in the NFL. Was there a point in time when, I've always asked every former athlete like this, where you're like, I'm really good at this and I can play pro? Like, was there ever a time when it's just kind of clicked with you and you're like, I can do this at the next level?
Really, it actually did. I never grew up really wanting to play in the NFL. I wanted to play in the SEC.
Yeah.
Growing up, like I say, playing video games, NCAA football was like, Madden was good, but around here in the South, you played NCAA football with the SEC, and so that's what I wanted to do. And so once I did get my scholarship and got here to Arkansas, it was kind of after my freshman year. You start seeing guys get drafted and, guys you saw and guys you played with here at Arkansas, guys get drafted and playing in the league, and you're like, hold on. I was practicing with this guy. I feel like I'm just as good and I can be better. I feel like, this is me just my first year. And these guys are, you know what I'm saying, going to the league. You see guys you played against going to the league, and you're like, hey, I was like, I might as well give it a shot and go all in. So probably right after my freshman year, when I started seeing the draft process and seeing how to actually get to the NFL, I was like, yeah, I can go for this.
What was that jump like from going from SEC football, which is high quality, to the NFL? Like, just as a tight end, what was the biggest differences that you recognized pretty early in the process?
I mean, in college, the SEC, I still would say, is the most talented top to bottom. I'm not saying it's the, always the best. Like we saw the Pac-12 last year of them being around. They had hell of football teams out there. So, but talent-wise, top to bottom, I would say the SEC. Usually they're too deep could be starters anywhere else. That's usually when you have a good team. If you're too deep, could be a starter anywhere. And I feel like it's a lot of teams are like that in the SEC. When you get to the NFL, everyone is top notch. Like, it could be a guy that's third string. He may have, got cut from another team because of numbers, but he's a great player, you know what I mean? And it's just a business. So that's probably the biggest jump. It's not you're not signing a scholarship and got a lot of people praising you and behind you until you do something good.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And two, you mentioned in the NFL, it seemed like you hit it at the right time too, where the tight end position has just become so crucial to NFL success. I mean, seeing like Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski, all these guys too,
for sure.
And so, coming from as a wide receiver, transitioning into that tight end position and everything. Was that something that, did you always want to be a wide receiver, or were you just wanting to play and you'd find any way to how to make it work? Or how did that process as far as that play out?
Yeah, I just kind of fell in. I just wanted to play however it would come. Actually, I was more of a basketball player growing up. I was just a little shorter. And then once I hit a growth spurt, I kept some of that athleticism, but I had a little wider body. And so football just happened to come. So I played quarterback and running back growing up in football. And then once I got bigger, I played receiver. And then when I got a little bigger, I played tight end. So it kind of just all evolved that way.
Yeah. And I think with how, looking back and you playing with guys like Jarius Wright, Greg Childs, and coming out of Warren, and of course, Treylon Burks was a pretty good wide receiver.
Treylon Burks, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not too bad. So it's like, it's funny to see like a place like Warren though, with you three guys coming out, and then even a Burks, and it's the skill position and the great type of talent that they have. Like, what makes it about Warren, just from your hometown and playing there? What does it make it that's just so good and producing such great talents?
Man, it's a lot of just good people. You get raised a certain way in Warren. It's a lot of families that's behind football. It's a great football town, and they have a great program. Got to give some credit to my head coach down there, Bo Hembry. He has a great program going, and it just kind of churns him out. He kind of sees what he needs and puts you in the right position. And as you grow in the program, you can have a lot of success. And with pass catchers especially, whether it be tight ends or receivers, we've seen that put out a lot coming from Warren.
Speaking with former Razorback tight end Chris Gragg here on the John Nabors Show. Now, Chris, I want to kind of circle back a little bit to the Petrino thing. And now he's here, now seeing the talent he has and everything. Just how do you feel like he's going to do now in this situation with this Razorback football team and this Razorback offense, just based on what you've seen?
Just from what I saw in that first practice, and I'm going to try to check out as many as I can while I'm around here. But I know he's going to get speed in. I know he brought a kid from Texas A&M who's doing track, actually. They were telling me when I was at the practice. I wanted to see him out there in the pass moving around. So I know he's going to get speed in. If you think about our team, our weapons, we had kind of bigger guys, but that were fast or explosive anyway outside, like a Greg Childs or a Kobe Hamilton. And then you had some speedy guys who could move around and play both, like Jarius Wright and Joe Adams. So you had those guys, and then you had those guys in the middle, like me and DJ Williams, who could attack the middle, weren't afraid to go through the middle and make some big plays. So I know that's kind of how the offense was when we were there, and so I'm kind of looking at it, seeing if it can build in that kind of way.
All right, last one before I let you get out of here. Your best Petrino story, the one that you can tell people, I guess. What's the best Petrino story you got?
Man. Best Petrino story, that's a tough one. And like you said, it's got to be one that I can tell to the public. No, but mainly, let's see. Oh, so I can tell you one. We were talking about the Cotton Bowl and just like a lot of things that people don't know. This is an okay one. So we go to the Cotton Bowl, of course, and we stay at a nice hotel, and it's a hospitality room. So people don't know that season I kind of tore my meniscus the Tennessee game, the game that Joe had the crazy return. Yeah. I tear my meniscus that game, end up playing. The next game was the Mississippi State game where I had a great game. I rehabbed. I didn't practice that week. And that was a kind of a hard thing, but Petrino always made you practice. And so we finished the season good, Mississippi State, and then we got that hard loss at LSU when we could have went to the Natty. And so we went to the Cotton Bowl. And so long story short, so the Cotton Bowl has a hospitality room. And so they got games and, all type of stuff in there. And so, of course, they got basketball goals. So us being athletes, me, Greg, a few other guys, we end up trying to have a dunk contest. So we clowning on the goals. I'm talking about we going between the legs, we letting them down. Boom, all right. So we do that, and we go back up to our room before we got meetings that night. By the time we get to meetings, my knee is swollen. I'm talking about I barely can walk. So that week of the Cotton Bowl, I got my knee drained 2 times. If you look back at the footage, I had 2 sleeves on, like compression sleeves, because I didn't want to just wear one to let people know that my knee was kind of messed up. I was having a good season. I was thinking about coming out for the draft. It was a whole bunch of stuff like that. But Coach Petrino kind of ripped into me that weekend. Right after that meeting, those basketball goals were taken out of the hospitality room for the rest of the week. It wasn't no more playing basketball in there.
Oh, man. See, that's it's so funny because I asked same thing to Tyler Wilson about that. He mentioned something different where something similar in the way of they were having some sort of like loud music playing or something before a meeting and whatnot, and he came in and he just ripped everybody that was in there dancing and everything too. And so it's just funny. It's like, hey, college kids clowning around, you're going to have some fun, but he's going to let you know about it if you end up having too much.
It was more like you got to be kidding me. You know you're not 100% and you're playing basketball? Why are you playing basketball? It's football season. That type of thing. Yeah. So, I always remember that one for sure.
Yeah, he probably had a few more expletives probably thrown in there when you were saying it
It
too,
was good. It was a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, Chris, we really appreciate you coming in, man, and hanging out with us, and I know you're excited about seeing Petrino back and also excited about Razorback football, but also for Harbor football coming up. I know you're excited to get back there on the field too, and it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, it will, man. It will. I can't wait.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us, man, and good luck this season, all right?
All right.